Welcome everybody to our first support group. I've never done Zoom before, so I hope you're patient with, with us on this. As always, ask questions. If you go down to the bottom, move your cursor down to the bottom, a little thing will come up that will say chat. You click on the chat and you'll be able to ask questions, and Angie's going to read them for me. Okay. Does anybody want to say anything before we start?
Diane.
Okay.
Welcome, Diane.
Okay, Angie, do you read the disclaimer?
Can you hear me now? I'm getting out.
You're breaking up a little.
Yeah. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. This is our disclaimer. The following webinars and posts will include the personal testimonials of some coaches of Optavia. The results related in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee luck or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please know that any source of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it's our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting any weight loss program.
Okay. You sound a little bit like Mad Max.
Sorry.
Okay. Maybe put yourself on mute if you have a question, because I can back, hear my voice back. Okay, thank you. All right, so tonight's little bit is on cravings. A lot of times whenever people go on a weight loss protocol or try to change their life at all, they'll start craving things like crazy. Most of us have been pregnant. You also crave when you're pregnant. There's a reason for that. What a craving is an uncontrollable, amplified desire for a certain food or taste. And we're going to go over some of the reasons why that happens. The reason why it happens when you're pregnant is to entice you to give the body the nutrients that you need if you have a deficiency. But that's not the only cause of cravings. We're going to go over, there's many of them, as you can see here. Blood allergies, food allergies, blood sugar imbalances, emotional connection. How many of us don't eat whenever we are sad or lonely or angry or whatever? Because of lack of neurotransmitters, yeast, overgrowth, parasites, dehydration. So I am going to say a little bit about dehydration. Then we're going to go into food allergies and lacking nutrients. Anytime you do a weight loss program, it's really important to drink a lot of water. The more water that you drink, the less likely you are to be hungry. Sometimes the body misregisters dehydration for hunger. So that is going to be helpful. All right, so let's go to food allergies. There's a saying among people in the natural health field that we crave what we're allergic to. If you have a hard time breaking down milk products, a lot of people crave milk, ice cream, yogurt, cheese. Well, most of it comes from a cow. A cow has 4 stomachs. We have 1. So our body doesn't completely break down the casein in the milk. Or some people crave bread. And I used to be like it a lot. Bread and pastas and stuff. Well, gluten, which is in wheat, is broke down into something called gluteomorphines. And they've changed our wheat so that there's more gluteomorphines that are produced whenever we digest it. In our stomach, there's something called casomorphines. Because since we don't have 4 stomachs like a cow, when we break down the casein in the milk, it doesn't break down completely. If you notice, morphine is in both of these names. And there's a very good reason for that. Morphine is a very addictive drug. It kind of makes you feel a little bit high. Well, whenever you cannot break down the casein in milk or the gluten in wheat, it produces these things, so you feel satisfied. You get that feeling of, oh, thank goodness I got to eat that. But just like morphines that you inject, or some people inject, it is very addictive, very, very addictive. If you find yourself craving those things, especially breads and stuff like that, have a hard time giving them up, realize that chances are you do not have the good probiotics in your intestines to fully break it down. Because when you have the good bacteria in your intestines, it breaks those casomorphines and gluteomorphines into things that the body can use. So if you will, in the chat, type a 1 if you have any of those cravings. And you know what I forgot to say after I was done being muted? Up here in a picture in the top right-hand side, that it should look green right now, is a beautiful lady, Robin Cooper. That is not me. I am Mary Reed Gates, but we are using her Zoom because I don't have the Zoom that she has. So people are going to think, oh, that doesn't look like her at all. No, I didn't get blonde hair, grow hair, and become younger and prettier on this protocol. So, okay, so the next reason why we crave, and Angie, was there any ones that people put in a, how many? Put your fingers up. 7. Okay. So 7 you probably could do with eating some fermented foods. If you don't know how to make them yourself, email me and I will send you links. But most foods come from a deficiency. Some can come from a condition. So when you're hungry for all food, chances are you are not breaking down the nutrients. So after you eat, the body says, feed me, even though you're already full, because it's not getting the vitamins and the minerals. It's just living off the sugar because you're not digesting it the whole way. Accompanying symptoms of that is, if it gets really, really severe, your tailbone can bother you if you sit for a while. You can feel fatigue. Or whenever people lack enzymes that they're not digesting their food well, they usually tell me, I don't feel sick. I just don't feel good. That is a symptom that this is happening to you. So if you're truly hungry shortly after you eat, it is probably because you're not digesting the food. If, however, you eat shortly after a meal, not because you're hungry, just because you want to eat, that's different. That's totally emotional. So if you bloat, burp, or pass gas, then I would probably take some digestive enzymes of some sort. Any questions about craving all foods, any foods?
Nicole has a question. She says, should we be doing that though on Optavia?
Okay, say that again because say it really slow.
Okay, Nicole is asking, should we be doing that on Optavia?
Most of the time, you don't have to. My digestion improved so dramatically when I went on Optavia. I don't really get cravings anymore. And although I get a little bit hungry right before it's time to eat, I'm never hungry after I eat. So, no, if you're on Optavia, chances are you don't need to take these things. That's the information for people who are not doing that program. Good question. Any other questions? Okay. For people who crave chocolate or coffee, there's some people who say, you know, I never drank coffee before, but oh, it smells so good. Or I love the smell of chocolate, or I got to have a piece of chocolate every day. That indicates that you are lacking magnesium. Accompanying symptoms are your heart can flutter, you can have constipation, or, I know this sounds strange, but sometimes your butt and upper legs get cold to the touch. You know, if you feel your stomach and your stomach's warm, and you ever feel your butt and it feels like it's a little bit chilly, that is a severe magnesium deficiency. Everybody, please put a 2 in if you ever have any of those symptoms or crave chocolate or coffee. The reasons why people become magnesium deficient a lot of times is because they eat milk products, because there's a lot more calcium in milk than magnesium. So the body will use your magnesium up inside to be able to try to take out some of that calcium. Or some people take supplements that have a lot of calcium, but they don't have very much magnesium. Those are the main causes for magnesium deficiency. Okay, so Angie, let me see your fingers here. Did anybody say that they, 5, 4? 4. Okay, just 4 years ago? That's unusual. It's usually a little bit more, but good job. For those 4, I would use some kind of a magnesium supplement. And just like the question that was asked earlier, a lot of times whenever you go on a really balanced program, they have those vitamins and minerals in there, so you don't have to worry about adding extra. Okay, another craving, fats or fatty foods. So we're talking like potato chips, French fries, anything that's fat. Chances are you are lacking sulfur or actually lacking the fatty acids. How you can tell the difference, if you lack sulfur, you probably have some kind of fat deposits. You could have like little, oh, somebody's drawing. Okay, you can have little fat deposits here or in the eye. That indicates that you are lacking sulfur. Cellulite anywhere in the body also is a symptom that you're lacking sulfur. If you're lacking fatty acids, the symptoms would be forgetting, nervousness, or not dreaming every night. So hearing the symptoms of a fatty or sulfur deficiency, how many people in here have that? 5. Okay. So if you're on Optavia, you're not supposed to do onions because they have a lot of sugar in them. I mean, you can even make, you know, when you cook onions, sometimes you caramelize them, they become very sweet. But you could do garlic or chickweed. If you have a hard time with your memory or not dreaming every night, then you could do super omega-3 oils or hemp oil or some kind of an oil, and you won't crave that. Okay, any questions about that? No, okay. If you crave milk, cheese, ice cream, or yogurt, sometimes you're lacking calcium Or again, you could be addicted because you need good probiotics in your intestines. If you're lacking calcium, you might get PMS headaches, moodiness, especially if it's a little kid, they get a little whiny, or you have a weakness in your lower back. The best source for that is green vegetation, like broccoli, spinach, things like that. Okay, so how many people have any of these accompanying symptoms? Or really, really craves milk, cheese, ice cream, or yogurt? Oh, put a 4 in, I'm sorry. Okay, how many is it, Angie? Only 3. Okay, good. This was mine. Okay, oh, 4? Okay, sorry. This was for me. I wasn't as much of a sweet fiend, although I do like sweets a little bit. Salty. When I wanted to eat, I wanted to munch on something salty. Whenever you want salty, like if you want chips, that's not necessarily salty. I mean, a sodium deficiency. It's sometimes potassium. But if you crave like any kind of salt, if you put a lot of salt on your food, if you go for pretzels, things like that, that indicates that you are lacking iodine. This is especially important whenever trying to lose weight, because iodine nourishes the thyroid, and the thyroid is huge in being able to have weight loss. If you develop a goiter, if you gained weight even though you're not eating any more than you used to, if your hair thins, or if you have a low body temperature, anything below 98.6, that indicates you have a thyroid problem. Also, and I forgot to put it on here, excuse my drawing, I'm not much of an artiste, but let's say this is a fingernail. On the bottom of your fingernails, you should have a moon, like a little half white thing. So I want everyone to look at the moons, your moons, and type in how many moons you have. Do you have 10? You should have 1 in each finger. Do you have 10, 9, 8? Okay, so Angie, how many people have less than 6 moons? 4. Very good. Okay, so most people have more than 6 moons, right? Oh, 5.
Actually, it's probably 5. I just typed mine in.
Okay, hi, Gail.
Hi, how are you, Mary?
Good, good. Okay, well, if you have less than 6 moons, that means your thyroid is only working about half as good as it should. And it is affecting your weight. Since I started this Optavia, I now have 5 moons. Off and on, for a long time, I had no moons at all. Okay, did you get some extra too, Angie? I saw either you give me a peace sign or you're telling me something about 2. Okay. So you can't.
You can't.
I'm sorry, what?
For you, because I have more moons now.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Okay, so natural sources of iodine is salt, the real salt, the pink Himalayan salt, or there's something called real salt. Sea salt doesn't always have it. Kelp is another good source, and spirulina. So those things actually nourish your thyroid as long as your pH is normal. If you want to know if your pH is normal, if you email me, I can tell you how to test it and how to straighten it out. Because your body cannot absorb iodine unless your saliva pH is between 6.3, and 6.6. All right, good. Now, if you crave just potato chips, you don't want salt in your food, and you don't want pretzels or things like that, just potato chips, French fries, mashed potatoes, things like that. If you just really crave those, chances are you are lacking potassium. Accompanying symptoms of potassium are, if it's really, really, really bad, Charlie horses, where you wake up in the middle of the night like they hurt like crazy. Or swelling if you retain water in your fingers, your rings get tight, or your feet or your ankles. If you get angina, which is pain in the chest. Hi, Ella. Or puffiness underneath the eyes. You know how people have bags under their eyes? That comes from a potassium deficiency. Really good source of that is parsley and kelp. If you're on the Optavia, those and potatoes are the things that you can have. Peaches are not on the Optavia program, so I would not do that particular thing if you're on Optavia, but they are high in potassium. So if you have any of these symptoms, put a 7 in the chat box. Okay, Angie, how many? Three. Okay, 3 people. Okay, that's better than I thought. All righty. If you crave sweets and simple sugars, including breads and pastas, but you don't want just bread, it's any of these things, milk, sugar, or alcohol, that indicates that you have a chromium deficiency. If you are a type 2 diabetic or type 3 diabetic, if you have hypoglycemia, chances are you have a chromium deficiency. Any kind of blood sugar imbalance at all. If you feel like in the afternoon you want to take a nap, a power nap, that also is a sign of a chromium deficiency. Good sources of chromium are red clover, raw honey, broccoli, potatoes, and green beans. Raw honey is not on the Optavia program. The others, however, are. Any questions about that? Okay, so now, last time I'm going to ask you to write something in the chat. Angie, how many people are here tonight?
17.
17. How many people, okay, now I'm going to ask a question to people. How many people have absolutely none of those cravings? Okay. I can only see Gail. I can only see 3 people. So put a 0 if you have none of those cravings at all. Did anybody put any zeros? Gail raised her hand, so I think Gail's one of them. No? All righty.
All right. There's 2 zeros.
2 zeros? Oh, wow. So out of 17 people, only 2 people don't have some kind of a cravings. That's why we did this class, is to help you along, because it is much easier to stay on a program if you don't crave things. And I really don't anymore. It took about 5 or 6 months of eating balanced foods so that I don't. And I thought I was smart enough to know all that stuff, but evidently it wasn't quite balanced out. But it is so much easier now to stay on a good program, health program, because I don't have those anymore. Okay, so if you want to learn about Optavia, and that's, you don't have to be in Optavia for this, but if you want to learn more Optavia, contact Angie Lingo. This is her Facebook page. This is her phone number and her email. But we'd like to be friends with you guys to help you out here. So if you can, this is, make us friends. That's Angie's Facebook friend place. Robin Cooper, the cute little blonde lady that's in the corner that I'm pretending to be. This is hers. And if you don't know what they are, you can just ask in the support group, hey, how do I get friends with them? And we'll link you. And this is mine. Okay. So,
There's a question.
I'm sorry, what?
There is a question.
Okay, hit me with it.
Is chromium lost in cooking?
Yes, that's why it should be raw honey. If, for those who are not on the Optavia and can do honey, if you use raw honey, you get chromium. But if you heat it up, or if you buy pasteurized honey that you get in the store, it negates the body's ability to absorb the chromium. Very good question.
Someone else is saying that mushrooms are good for that.
They are. Good job. They're not as good, but they are good. They do have it. Okay, Robin's here. Do you want to unmute her?
Sure. Oh.
Hey, Robin.
Is she on her phone?
No,
Oh, sorry.
No. Robin, can you unmute yourself? Robin is the lady that got me into this. She is amazing. Yeah, ask Ella. Ella will know.
Yeah, she's helping me.
Way to go, Ella.
When I click on it, it's doing
Okay, you know what? Can you unmute everybody?
Yep. Who's that?
Okay. We apologize. We want to do this better.
Mary, I just unmuted myself. This is Gail.
Hi, Gail.
Okay, everyone's been asked to unmute, but you still have to unmute yourself. Like Gail did.
Up in the corner, is it the right-hand side, left-hand side?
The right-hand side.
Okay, up in the right-hand side, if you click, you can be unmuted.
Next to the dots. Next to the dots.
Okay, who's saying that?
It's your daughter.
Oh, hello, daughter.
Mama did. On my computer, it's on the bottom left of the screen, so I think I don't know.
Oh, that's weird.
Right.
Well, I'm glad my daughter's on here. My daughter, everyone needs a Nicole. She's Mama Duck. That's her name. But everyone needs a Nicole because I don't cook at all. And I was eating these pitiful dried out pieces of meat and a cucumber for my lean and green. And my daughter decided that, hey, I might try this too. And, oh, she is such a good cook. I mean, she's an amazing cook. And the pictures that we put in our group, those are from Nicole. She made them. Because if it was me, I would love to take a picture of them. She made them. If it was me, I would love to take a picture. Okay. So does anybody want to talk about some successes they had or questions about anything at all? Would be more than glad to
So Mary, you're saying that if you're on the Octavia, then the supplements are not something that we really need to worry about, or?
Typically, after a while, no. I mean, if you want to, you could, beef up on them. But I don't know about Angie. I don't have cravings anymore.
Yeah, I don't either.
See, and Nicole doesn't. Mama Duck doesn't either. So I think if you're willing to wait a couple months, you won't need those supplements. But if you want to be easier to stick to the program until all those nutrients, get built up, then you could.
So I've noticed that there are vitamins in the Octavia. So is that why you would say that we don't really need it, because it does give you the vitamins that you're needing?
Exactly. So there's vitamins, minerals, and probiotics in most of them. So, and they're very well balanced. So, because sometimes if you take one nutrient, like I told you about the cow's milk, it will pull magnesium out of your body. But these are so well balanced that they don't have to give you so much. Like, I don't know about you, but I don't think even the foods taste like they have those in there. You can't really taste them. But they're so well balanced that it doesn't deplete your body of one thing to supply something else. And yeah, after a while, you're going to find out. I don't even take most of my herbs anymore. I take magnesium because I've had a problem all my life, and this is probably more than anybody wants to know, but I have a problem with my bowels. So I take some magnesium, but I don't take any of my other stuff anymore. I don't need it anymore. And I don't get chest pains. My kidneys are working well. My legs don't swell up anymore like they used to. I sleep well. So if you give it time, you won't need to.
Okay, there's a question, Mary. How does the product control cravings?
Because it satisfies all of those deficiencies that we talked about. So it gets to build up to a point, and it doesn't happen the first day, like the first time you eat something from their products. But after a couple months, it balances out that you don't have any more cravings because you don't have any more deficiencies.
Everyone is agreeing with you. Someone is saying the longer she's been on the program, the fewer cravings she has. And Nicole says it took about a month for her to notice her cravings go away. And then someone's asking, is chromium cooked out of broccoli?
No. But you don't want to cook your broccoli until it's like mush. If you slightly steam it, you can do that, but it has to have some of its integrity yet. You can't break down the cellulose altogether. If you do, then yes, that is going to be cooked out. Another really good question.
May I add something, Mary?
Robin's here now.
Robin!
Hey, ladies, may I add something?
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. So, yes, physical cravings will go away once your body reaches fat burn. But what doesn't go, and what everyone will want to learn, is how to handle, the emotional cravings. And so we give tools with Optavia how to recognize, hunger, and if it is emotional craving, if it is in fact something that, if it's emotional, if you eat whatever you are wanting, if it's like an emotion, that won't be fulfilled, right? And so that's what's powerful with the Optavia program, Mary. I wanted to bring up is you have the power to recognize that your physical cravings will go away. But emotionally, you may want to eat things because of sad, bored, lonely, angry, stressed, reasons like that. And if that's the case, we have some tools, stop, challenge, choose, to work on that. Like stop and challenge yourself. Is this something that I really want to eat right now? Am I actually hungry? Like, would I eat broccoli? And also, am I dehydrated? Am I thirsty? So anyways, there's a great tool, and that would be a great asset. I can post and share in our group just this chart that I'm talking about. I just want to touch on that.
Okay, great. Thank you. So everybody, that's Robin. That's the pretty lady in the corner that I'm pretending to be.
I'm totally serious.
That's Robin. She's the one who got me into this. Thank you very much, Robin. Okay, are there any questions?
Who's Gunner?
No more questions? Anybody want any other comments? Okay, well, thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. I don't know how this got written all over my thingy here. I'll take this off so you can read it. So we would really like for you to, I won't let me take it off. We would really like for you to friend us on Facebook and contact us if you need any help, especially Angie and myself. I mean, poor Robin's running ragged, but, and we're there for you. You know, we're all in this together. Okay, no other questions? All right.
I have a comment. Oh, sorry. I was just saying, I have a comment. Mary, I learned so much from you. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. This was an incredible training. Thank you for your time.
Oh, you're sweet.
I just wanted to add, if you have friends or family in your life that you think would enjoy, learning more about health or what, these things that Mary shares and her support groups, invite them to our group and let us know who they are so we can add them, because we do want to keep that group, safe. So, we kind of vet everybody that comes in, but if you have somebody, message Mary or I and let us know, and we would love to have them join our group.
Very good point.
And thank you for coming. So nice.
All righty, well, we'll hope to see you next week. Good night, everybody. All right. Thanks, Angie and Bob.